good morning or afternoon or perhaps 2020, depending where you are on the globe. But welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer beginning of brackets. We have our first game 3 of entire brackets right now between Bonta and Kohrek. I'm Drosy1. I'm here with Tracy M. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited for game 3 as always.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about games 1 and 2, and then we'll talk about where these guys came in, how they got to this point. So game 1 had a little bit of quirky key logic showing up in pod. So what basically happened was the mitts were on the big key chest. There were 4 keys in the front. There has to always be at least 4 keys in the front of pod. That is the bow-locked area, and of course the first chest, the ones leading to the big key, the one right after the big key, and the one in the beetle room. But 2 of those keys were on the bow lock side. And because key logic assumes that you use the keys in the worst possible way, it was possible to block those mitts if you did use the keys in the worst possible way, which made those mitts effectively bow locked. Bonta noticed that, and he managed to get his bow right away after that, being that there was like 1 check left at Pendant Desert, beating Landmolus and following a shovel to his bow. Kohrek did not catch that and went straight to Turtle Rock with his mitts, and effectively ended up about a mountain climb behind at the end of the race. Game 2 was Kohrek's win by a full whopping 12 seconds. Very close. They went to GT about 30 seconds apart. But Kohrek gambled on Tile Room, perhaps because it was in Tile Room in game 1. And again, only lost by 12 seconds, managing to catch up by some really nice Ganon Tower performance, and also having found the Tempered Sword. So now we start game 3, and who knows what's going to happen. We are doing a standard mode, and there will be no GT today because we are doing fast Ganon.
And just to give a recap of why that's the case, when Kohrek lost the first race, he decided he wanted to do standard mode for the second race. Bonta, having lost the second race, decided, fire start, that'll be interesting. Bonta, the second race, decided he wanted to make it fast Ganon, but the rules are that changes are cumulative, so Kohrek's change to standard mode has also stuck for this race.
Yeah, a nice a fire rod to start out with. You have your fire source already, and it's not a bomb start. And we've already got bombs on both sides, so they will be able to check back of escape, so that's really nice.
And I see a question chat. Standard mode just means you start in Link's house in the storm and have to rescue Zelda before you can do anything.
All right, and just to talk a little bit more about these runners, Kohrek was the 31 seed overall in the out of the qualifiers, 55 now, out of Group H, lost to JTB 0-2, beat Kohrek 2-0 and T-Stu 2-1 to end up with the 55 seed. Bonta was the number 1 seed overall, ends up number 10, out of Group Z, beat Josh 1-2-4, 2-0, and Lin 2-1. And so that's how we got here. So we got our rupees, so we won't have trouble with the early things like Bottle Vendor.
And we got the key that in standard mode has to show up the front because you have to go through escape in order.
Yeah, Bonta was the number 1 overall seed going into the group stage, to answer that question in chat. He is number 10 in the brackets, though.
Right, because someone who went undefeated in groups would get a better seed than someone who was the number 1 from quals.
Yep, exactly. And a bottle of blue goo, which is nice for a couple reasons. They will be able to check the sick kid when they go into Kakariko. But also, if you're going to get a bottle, that's the one you want to get. It's probably certainly the most useful.
And the runners have also nicely shown us how ball and chain guards go down from Fire Rod.
Yeah, one of the nice things about doing standard is you don't have to worry about death warping out of the front of escape. Just kill the ball and chain guard and be done.
At the same time, if you do happen to be lucky and get a mirror in one of the first couple of checks, you can be really about things and mirror as soon as you rescue Zelda. But did not see that today.
Okay, and even though we don't have a lamp, we will have a light cone coming up in these dark rooms. If they were to come back, then it would be 100% dark. But of course, there's no reason why they're ever going to come back here. I guess you could forget to get the chest. That'd be pretty weird.
Actually, I think I've been told that, for logic reasons, they would still get a light cone back here just in case.
Oh, really?
Say,
okay.
Suppose the glove is glove locked in the back of
Yep.
escape otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have to have a way of logically being able to get that glove.
Okay, that's actually I learned something. I did not know that. I was always told that it wouldn't be there. That's interesting. But in this case, just a heart container, so definitely good to have early. 3 hearts is 4 hearts better than 3 hearts, but in the long run, not going to make a huge difference.
And Kohrek is ready to bomb and show us what's in the back of escape.
Piece of heart, and 20 rupees. So nothing particularly interesting in the back of escape, but they don't have to worry about coming back here later, so that's always a good thing.
I love when the runners, though, are, I have so many bombs, I'm just going to bomb my way out of the back of escape as well.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of interesting because that leaves Kohrek with just 2 bombs, which is less than I'd want to go into Kakariko Village with.
I guess he's gambling that between Line's Hut and Well, he can find bombs in time to be able to use them in the chicken hut.
Usually that's the case, but never know. Certainly, he's got the money to buy bombs if he needs to.
Okay, and I saw regular crystals in Hera, and I think those are regular. Tracker's saying a 5/6 crystal in Eastern.
Well, I will trust our trackers since they do the hard work behind the scenes. Shout outs to, I'm going to say this wrong and I apologize, Ice and he doing the tracking today. And a 20 20 rupee tree pull, so that's going to make it very easy to buy bombs and get us to that bottle vendor price. And if Zora becomes an issue, we might be able to farm those. And early flippers, so we might see an early Zora play once they have the money for it.
You mentioned Zora and there are the flippers. How about that?
Okay, now we get into the heart of Kakariko. Let's see what we got. Small shield. Oh, there are those gloves. Some arrows. And a blue cane. So the gloves being the highlight of that package. And let's see what we have in the back. Rupees.
So we're still waiting for a non-magical weapon besides bombs.
Okay, we got the Kakariko Well coming up on Kohrek's side. More arrows. The single rupee. Blue mail. Another heart container. And mitts. So mitts, 850 in. Nice.
Well, when it rains, it pours. You're in one glove, you find them all.
And like you said, we still don't have a non-magical weapon. We have the fire rod and we have the blue cane, both of which can be used. But not exactly ideal at this point, especially without half magic.
And as you were worried, we didn't get any bombs, so they're gonna have to farm bombs for chicken or something.
Well, without bombs, they can't even get there, so we'll have to probably just buy some. Oh, wait, there they are.
Last possible place before they had to go farm them or buy them.
And just a single rupee for that trouble. It looks like Bonta is going to go ahead and buy some bombs just in case. Gives him more options on how to do certain things. So he's got low magic if he wants to do, say, mini Moldorm Cave. Not enough magic to kill all the Moldorms very easily, or if at all. So getting those bombs will be able to do that. Plus, he'll be able to get the item on the race game if it becomes something he wants. Oh, and we have a Boots Lockbow.
Ooh.
We may never get that. We may actually never get that because, with the progressive bows now, if they find a bow elsewhere and they don't find the boots, we're not coming back there.
Right, I was more thinking if they get the boots, that's probably high on the list for where to come back to.
Absolutely. If they do get the boots before they get the other bow, absolutely make a beeline for that location.
Well, Uncle did once right out of the gate that this is a boot seed until the show up.
And seeing just a piece of heart in the race game, both runners decided to save and quit and not pick it up. Interesting that both of them blind checked it instead of going ahead and checking it ahead of time, which we see a lot of. So lost a few seconds doing that, but it shouldn't be too big a deal, especially since they both did it. And there's some more bombs.
Yeah, but I can understand they didn't want to risk the race game having something useful.
Absolutely. I kind of like the blind check better in general. My thinking is, even if you get a crappy item, it's so early in the game that most items are of some use. And if it's a crappy item, you're not going back and getting it. And that a container heart might make a difference at some point. Yeah, a little bit of extra rupees might make a difference at some point.
And those 50 rupees they picked up now mean just need to find 300 rupee prize and they will have Zora money. And both of our runners are going to the desert. This is interesting.
Yeah, you don't see this very often. A lot of runners like to put this Agina check off till way late. But both of them decided they want to do it.
Yeah, especially if they haven't found the book early. Like, if they found the book early, they'll do it in conjunction with Dipping Desert.
Yep. And there's that 300 rupees you talked about.
Well, that makes the south side really key because now they'll do mini Mole Cave. They have the flippers. They can do all the flipper checks and finish up in Zora.
Yep. I suspect we'll see a couple of routes towards that. The other option, they have actually quite a few options with those mitts. They could go up the mountain. It would be out of logic, but you know, these runners can definitely do that because no lamp doesn't matter when you're just rescuing the old man at this caliber of play.
Yeah, but it's only 2 items at this point.
This is true. The main advantage to doing that would be getting that save and quit spot. Ooh, and Bonta wasting 2 bombs and not getting any kills.
The other thing to note is we have seen no sign of the Moon Pearl yet, but it's probably not an Aga seed because we have nothing of the log to get to Aga.
Yeah, I mean, Aga seeds are kind of funny. Until you find the hammer, there's still the possibility of not being able to get to the pod area in logic with just the mitts. But we haven't seen hammer, we haven't seen any swords, we haven't seen a lamp. This is definitely not shaping up right now to be an Aga seed, but you know, time will tell.
And all of Mini Morm Cave gave us $140. And the runners are so synchronized that Bonta's problems with those bombs actually allowed Kohrek to gain about a 2-second lead.
Yeah, both gonna check the hobo first. Let's see what he's hiding today. And there's that Moon Pearl. So now they have Dark World access. Not full Dark World access, but you know, pretty decent chunk.
With the flippers, I think
With
that's
the flippers,
full.
Yeah, you're right. Except for the obvious mire, because we don't have the flute. But that is correct. You can get to pod by swimming over. So no Aga today, but we kind of expected that. In Shufa, yeah, go ahead.
Lumberjack, never check Lumberjack.
That's true. We have not seen Lumberjack. Okay, we do get a little bit of route divergence. Bonta heading straight up to the Zora area, checking the waterfall ferry and just getting a piece of heart and some money. Kohrek's going to go ahead and check that Ice Rod Cave first.
Are they the ones who had the shovel on Lumberjack craziness yesterday?
Yeah, that was game 2. We never actually had to go get it, but you know, you see that shovel on Lumberjack, it's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, and until you're in go mode, you're just wondering.
Yep, am I gonna have to make the hour 30 Aga play to get that shovel? Okay, running out of checks here before we go into the Dark World, see what Zora has. And just a piece of heart. And doesn't even bother to pick it up.
Yeah, at this point, the only remaining Light World decks in Logic are Sahasrarla's Closet and Eastern, and I don't think the runners really want to go over that way without the bow when they have so many Dark World options now.
Yeah, definitely not an ideal thing. Looks like Bonta's gonna go ahead and make that Ice Rod check.
Probably very slightly slower than Kohrek's routing, but pretty similar.
And gonna be disappointed in finding, well, you might not be as disappointed. He's only got 1 bomb at the moment. You know, that's kind of low, but still not what he's looking for. It looks like Kohrek's gonna go ahead and check out Eastern Palace.
Well, 3 items in Sarsaparillo's Closet, and either 2 or 3 accessible in Eastern.
Yeah, and it may be that he just checks the closet. He may not actually go into the dungeon. Also might depend on what he actually finds here.
What they do need is a magic container.
Yeah, that'd be useful. Oh, and Bonta gonna go ahead and check Aga. Nothing in Sarsaparillo's Closet. And Kohrek does decide he doesn't want to do Eastern yet. And once again, we got such a quick look I did not see.
That was a full heart container.
We're okay. Aga is officially not going to happen. We always say Aga is dead, but I would actually argue that Aga is alive because we're not going to kill him. And Bonta going to go ahead and make that play up the mountain. Again, I think the important part of this is that he is going to be able to get that save quit spot. We'll see if he decides to also check the spectral rock areas.
And it looks like Kohrek is going to go for that Dark World portal.
And we can't see anything on Bonta's side because he has no weapons to do this with. So what is normally a pretty easy dark room becomes a lot more difficult because not even a sword to guide us. But he does it with no problem.
He didn't get to be the #1 seed coming out of quals for nothing.
Exactly. Okay, first check in the Dark World gives us bombs.
Bombs, money, and heart pieces. That's what we've been getting mostly. Ooh, map check. So our other 5/6 crystal is in Pod. We have a blue pendant in Swamp and a green pendant in Skull Woods.
Yeah, a little unfortunate because we can... actually, no, we can't do a Skull Woods yet because we don't have a sword yet. But we do have the fire rod for it. So other than that sword issue, we could do it. We might not see a hookshot today. Swamp Palace being a pendant dungeon, and this being fast Ganon, we don't need it. Unless something important shows up on the hookshot cave.
Also means we might not see Mirror.
That's right.
Though in that case, we would have to see Hookshot because we have to have some way to get to ALTTPR and Turtle Rock.
Right, so we need one of those items.
And likewise, we need either Hookshot or Boots to get into Mire when the time comes.
Right. Okay, and Kohrek just checking the front of Thieves Town with only the blue cane to fight blind. I can't say that I blame him for deciding to not full clear this dungeon right now. And there's that mirror.
Oh, so if we find Boots, we have that rare Hookshotless seed.
And we'll see if Bonta decides to take the gamble and try and full clear Thieves Town, or if he just also dips the front. I mean, Blue Cane Blind is a pretty fun fight, but with basically no magic right now. You, of course, have to fill up at some point.
Yeah, the runners really need a full magic reef from somewhere.
Yeah. Half magic would be really good right now. As Kohrek
So it gives
starts
you
the
a
digging.
full magic reef, though.
Yeah, and Bonta also decided to leave Thieves Town. Again, yeah, not exactly the ideal situation for trying to full clear this.
I think that gets it for money for the rest of the seed.
Pretty much.
Because we've paid for the Games and Village Outcasts. That's more than enough money to bribe Kiki, and if we need to fill a couple of bottles, we have money for that too.
And the one bottle they did get was blue, so we may not need to worry about that at all.
Oh, and with that mirror, smithing now becomes actually pretty easy.
Unfortunately, can't do the hammer pigs yet. And of course, somebody's mentioning swamp in chat. They could do the first chest. But no hammer means they can't do the rest of it.
Yeah, I guess
And,
mirror and flippers are all you need for the first chest.
And frankly, this is not where these guys want to go anyway. It is a pendant.
Well, without hammer, it's kind of a dead end they get down there, so I don't know, maybe you dip it simply because in the area.
It is such a long check, though, for just one item. I could see it as the play. I don't know. I don't know if they would actually do that. Bonta decides not to pick up 300 rupees, figures he has more than enough money for everything he needs at this point. And he'll start his own smith chain.
Because with no book, the only stuff that's left here, besides turning in the purple chest, Stumpy, which Kohrek's about to go to, and then Hype Cave, and other than that, you either dip that first chest in Swamp or you save and quit.
Yep, and then of course we still have Eastern open to us. And now we do have Hera open to us, although we can't finish it because we still don't have a weapon. No hammer, no sword. You need one of those items in order to beat Moldorm.
And Hera is still not logically in play without either the lamp or the flute.
That is correct. Not that that would stop them.
No, certainly not, though, as you said, the lack of a sword or a hammer will stop them from beating it.
Yep. And probably wouldn't want to go up there until I knew I could. I mean, there's got to be a sword somewhere. At least that's what I would be thinking.
Yeah, this is a ways into a seed without a sword, though I seem to remember there was one last week in this tournament where an hour in or something crazy.
Yeah, it was I want to say there was one with over about an hour. Looks like Kohrek is going to gamble on that first chest. Well, the Swamp has that reputation for having a sword. Maybe it'll be in that first chest.
And Hype Cave has a reputation for being decidedly non-hype, so Kohrek's just decided that, Hype Cave's going to live up to its reputation.
Well, I don't know. I think of the term hype as we're hyping it up because maybe it's good, and then it just disappoints us. So... something that's hype isn't guaranteed to be good. It's just guaranteed to be hype. I'm sure that check will come up very soon on one of these runner sides. And let's see what that first chest is. It's just bombs. It's not what Kohrek wanted to see there.
So either there's progression in Hype Cave or they have to save and quit, reuse that Dark World portal, and go around the north and see what's on Graveyard Ledge, and then go across Pod, Pyramid, Catfish.
Well, I mean, they do have a few options. That is an option. They still have Eastern to check, although I think that would make more sense to pair it with that trip over to Pod. And like I said, the Autologic Tower of Hera. And we see an Ether medallion in the Hype Cave. Oh, and there's a sword. And a lamp!
Yay!
A decent Hype Cave.
Okay, so now Hera is fully in lock and fully clearable.
Yep.
That sword also makes Skull Woods clearable. That's green pendant.
Yeah, I feel like especially on Kohrek's side, going up to Tower of Hera makes a lot of sense. Because he hasn't done that save quit spot yet. Bonta having already gone up the mountain to get the save quit spot, he can get back there very quickly. So I guess it makes sense for him too. It's one less check for him since he's already done the old man check.
Oh my, and Kohrek going down that way reminded me that Ice Palace, no, we can't finish it, but
we can start
do have
it.
Several cheats available.
And there's another place a hookshot could be required. So Ice Palace, a hookshot, and Fighter Sword, not a fun proposition. So I'm not surprised if they're not going for it. Looks
And
like Bonta is going to pot though.
I totally forgot there was a staircase out of the water that allowed you to circle around.
Let's see what's on the pyramid ledge. It is a heart container. Kohrek decides he doesn't want it. This makes a lot of sense for Bonta to do this first. He hasn't checked Sarasala, so he's going to do that now.
Looks like Kohrek's going to catfish now.
And with that blue potion, this check is a pretty good one for Pod. Now that we have the progressive bows, it is actually not unusual to actually find a bow-locked bow in Pod. So we'll see if, or I guess could get a non-bow-locked bow in Pod as well. So we'll see if this pans out at all. Of course, we also need the hammer to finish this.
Well, if we find a bow-locked bow in Pod, that tells us a lot of where the boots can be.
Right, because we do need boots to get that first bow. It is on the library. And that mirror making routing Pod a lot easier. We do see a key, so we're not immediately bow locked. Now let's see what's at Catfish.
Kohrek didn't have the best aim there.
And just 10 arrows, and he saves and quits before he catches them. And we got a big key, so now we are bow locked, but Bonta already opening the bomb door there is probably going to use that potion and glitch on over there. Actually, wait, we could get a key in this chest, and we do, so we could go further, but I think it makes more sense just to do the potion glitch now. And it looks like Kohrek is going to go head up the mountain. So we finally get some actual significant route diversions here.
Very nice quick auto glitch there on Bonta's side.
And Kohrek showing that it's much easier to do this when you can actually see something. And 2 more keys on the right side means we can continue. Pretty much everything going to be out of logic, though. Because as we talked about earlier, we have that worst possible... this game assumes the worst possible use of your keys.
Right, and he's not actually checking the big key chest, which, as you said, is out of logic, but we've already found 4 keys in the front, so it could contain something.
It could. Oh, we're going to see a hammer yump. Very nicely done. And if he mirrors out of here, that'll save him the key.
And then he can check the big key chest coming through again.
Kohrek can ignore the piece of heart on Spectacle Rock and head straight into Tower of Hera. And we see a bug net as the first item in Hera.
Well, that's 1 item down.
And we see a key, and we need to go find the big key in the basement, because we don't have a hook shot to do a Hera pot right now. And Bonta replacing the blue goo that he used up for the bottle glitch with another one.
And we've also now found 4 of the 5 items in Pod, so if this big key chest must either contain the map or the 5th item.
And it's the 5th item. Red cane doesn't really help us right now, but not having to look for that later is very nice.
It also means Turtle Rock is bow locked officially.
Nice. Yeah, it does. Well, we won't be finding... Well, I keep saying we won't find the bow in Turtle Rock. We could still find that progressive bow just screws things up in a way. So we could still find a bow there.
Though we would surely need boots then.
That would ensure boots in a accessible location. Between the first bow being on the in the library and between a bow being on the library and there being 2 of them. Just don't know.
And meanwhile, Kohrek found the 2nd item in Tower of Hera, and it was just arrows, so we're not going to get anything useful out of here other than the crystal. Bonta finding a fire shield in Eastern.
Yeah, well, now that these guys have swords, we might see them go back into Thieves Town.
Or Dipskull Woods.
Dipskull Woods, not a bad choice. Ideally, your items would all be in the front. You never have to go to the back. They can full clear it now. But again, pendant dungeon. Green pendant, but pendant nonetheless. Kohrek on round 2 with Moldorm.
Really reminds you how annoying Mold 1 is in the vanilla game.
Exactly.
Because you only have that fire sword.
Yep, you have no other choice. And just one more check over here in Eastern on Bonta's side.
And we've already seen 2 items, so either the chest or Armos has the 3rd item.
And we see the 3rd item, just a piece of heart. We'll have to come back later to kill Armos Knights. But the good news is he knows, I think he's got everything out of the 2 dungeons, so he doesn't need to come back until he's in go mode and ready to just kill both bosses.
Yep, it's kind of interesting to see both Armos and Helmosaur having dungeon items on them. And I think specifically in each case.
Okay, Kohrek going back into the Dark World. We'll see if he decides to clear Thieves or if he decides to dip Skull Woods. Looks like he's going to head back towards Thieves. Bonta can do the Tower of Hera play, which will get him a crystal and not much else.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty crystal placement because, you know, 2 of the crystals are bow locked, 2 of them are accessible, and 3 of them are in the 3 hardest dungeons.
Yep. And Mit's locked. Bonta also decided not to pick up that bug net. No surprise.
Those final 3 dungeons I was going to say are not only locked, they're also locked by other items we don't have.
True, 2 of them are hammer locked, and of course Myra, as you said earlier, needs those either those boots or that hook shot.
But there is still the possibility that progression is in one of those Ice Palace seeds chests that isn't hammer locked.
Or hook shot locked, if we are hook shot locked at all there. And Kohrek finds a flute, so we do have Myra area access now.
Right, that gives us the 2 checks in Meyer Shed and 1 check in Checkerboard Cave, and also led into Desert.
And yep, Pendant Desert now accessible.
Chad asking when we started using 100-minute hours. I think that's the metric system for you.
So one nice thing in this Hera setup, we don't have to worry about the big chest. Even though we did have to go down and get that big key in the basement. At least
And
the game said, not gonna worry about the big chest. Don't have to worry about bomb jumping or falling down or any of that good stuff.
And as you know that, we don't need to worry about the big chest in Thief because it contains a key. So
Yeah,
didn't
blind-
just orphan it.
Yeah, blind cannot have a key, so we don't have to worry about coming back later.
This also means the levers on blind is hammerlocked, and actually the flute is hammerlocked. More crazy magic coming at you. Okay, blind just had the compass. Near simultaneous crystal grabs.
Yeah, I gotta
What are
believe
yours,
Kohrek's
Ben?
gonna go ahead and use that flute right away to check the mire area. If there's nothing there, he might make the pod eastern dip.
So, to explain why the flute is hammerlocked, Kohrek had the key that he used to go upstairs in Thieves' Town, and instead gone downstairs and opened the door to the big chest room. He wouldn't have been able to go upstairs without having hammer to get the small key out of the big chest. And the game assumes you use the dumbest way.
Okay, and Kohrek is immediately using that flute.
Chap pointed out that he could have just got out of Thieves' Town.
Oh, actually, looks like Kohrek's maybe gonna make the skull. Oh, or maybe do the North Dark World checks. Nope, he is gonna go into Skullwoods.
2 here, you find them quickly in.
And interesting going straight to the back. This is a play I would normally expect if this were a crystal dungeon, and just go ahead and beat the dungeon, and then work your way back out. But he may just want, there is a key over here on the left-hand side he could grab to not have to worry about keys at the beginning of the front area. And in the meantime, you might as well just check this one. Okay, so it looks like he is going to go straight to the back. It is the green pendant, so, it could have something behind it.
And I guess he'll have to, since it gives him the green pendant as well.
Bonta picks up his flute.
Another key, Kohrek. So at least one item's in front of Skullwoods.
There's that key.
There was a key there. I
Yeah,
totally missed that.
No, I don't believe Kohrek actually opened the chest. I saw chat talking about that.
Oh, I just saw a 0 key count. I thought the key
Yeah,
must have been in.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. But yeah.
Okay, so I guess
So
Kohrek was counting items, and the big chest must contain the map. So I apologize. The is not hammerlocked. I thought that bulky was in the big chest.
Kohrek gets that green pendant.
And now crystal count is at 2 apiece.
And Kohrek's gonna go back and see what else he can find here. Bonta also going ahead and activating his flute. We'll see if he does the Skullwood dips or if he decides to go into the mire area. And he's fluting again, so I'm gonna guess we're gonna see mire. Well, not the dungeon itself, because we can't go into it. Nope, he's heading over towards swamp. Wait, no, he's fluting again. Where are you going? There we go.
And the 2 items in Skull Woods are apparently buried here, since we haven't seen either yet.
We just saw a cape. As you said that, of course.
Was there another item? Actually, since he just mirrored out and picked the other item.
Yeah, we probably saw a mist of arrows or something like that.
Oh,
Or maybe
Moth
he
had
just...
money, chatting.
Okay, thank you, chat. Oh, and some powder for Bonta and a piece of heart. Powder, a nice luxury item, does open one more chest. Check. Heart container over on the bumper ledge, so that cape's not going to do as much good.
Right, the thing about doing magic when you don't have the hammer is it's actually at the cost of your mirror portal. But with the flute, the Dark World portal just north of Kakariko, that's not a huge cost.
And just 5 rupees at the graveyard ledge.
So what are we left with? We have Checkerboard Cave. We have
We saw a checkerboard cave on Kohrek's side. Bonta's checking desert. And let's see what's in here. It is a small key, so we are not boots locked.
So we have magic bats we were discussing. We have the few checks ice that aren't hammer locked or hookshot locked. Which does include Icy Room. It's great how that's so awful to get to, but is not actually hammer locked or hookshot locked.
Okay, let's see. Oh, there's a Master Sword. Doesn't really open anything up for us because we don't... Oh, and there's a bow. So we may not find those boots. That is completely accessible. Of course, we still need either boots or a hookshot to go into mire. Oh, right. Bonta's going to go check Checkerboard Cave now. He didn't... This has not been checked. And Kohrek's going to do the Pod Eastern play. We've seen this on Bonta's side, so... Oh, and there's the hammer. So That's going to open up a lot for us. Now we can do ice, most of it. Some of it might be out of logic, but actually we can do all of it with bomb jumps done in the right way. Still can't do Myra, no hookshot, no boots. And could go into Turtle Rock, but no Ice Rod makes that not a very appealing choice.
And remember, Turtle Rock is still out of logic without the bows, so we know something about...
Well, we have a bow now. Bow's available in Desert for Bonta. Kohrek can go to Desert anytime. So the Myra area did hold a lot. And I didn't catch it, but our tracker obviously did. Shout outs to Isony. We do have a Quake medallion for Myra, so we can't get in there yet, even if we could actually, if we could actually proceed in there. So this is kind of interesting. We have both runners in pod at the same time, but Bonta's going to be able to finish it, and Kohrek's going to do all the checks that Bonta has already done and not find anything that's going to help him out. And at this point, what do we actually need at this point? We need an Ice Rod. Could have a good old-fashioned Ice Rod hunt. We need a hookshot or the boots to get into Myra, and we need the Quake to actually open up Myra. And we may also need Quake for Turtle Rock, but we're going to get Quake regardless because, of course, we need it for Myra.
So overall, Bonta's ahead, I would say, and Kohrek's big hope is... Wait, did you hear that? Green pendant on the way into pod, and I assume it was nothing?
He must have. I didn't catch what it was, so...
I didn't catch it either, but it would have been weird if he hadn't turned in. Oh.
Okay,
Ruby
yeah,
says
no,
chat.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't catch it.
I was about to say Kohrek's hope was that the green pendant had something, and then I realized he must have turned it in his way into pod.
Well, Ice Rod hunts and Medallion hunts are often the great equalizers, so it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out in that sense.
Yeah, just happened if you're on a dependent dungeon, Desert was the right one to do. Was the Master also in Desert? I'm just noticing that on Bonta's chat and that he was using it.
Master Sword was in Desert. So the question about Bonta can hover. Well, first of all, we're not doing GT today because we are doing Fast Ganon, so it's actually pretty irrelevant whether either of these runners can hover. I have seen both of them practicing it earlier before the race, and Bonta was trying to do some hover strats in some of the earlier games that he looked like he had a decent setup for, but didn't quite finish them out. So my guess is both of them could do it if they absolutely needed to, but the only way that's going to come into play is if there's something in the hookshot cave, and they don't find the hookshot. And they do find boots.
Could be relevant for getting in Mire.
No, because if you have the boots, you just bonk over.
Except we don't have the boots yet.
No, but you can't hover without boots, so...
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes, that magic non-boots hovering method just discovered. The
better question, I think, is They know where that second bow is. If they do get the boots, do they either one of them go and get it for those silvers?
Probably depends whether they found Tempered by then, because if you're on Mastered, getting these silvers is a huge time savings. Tempered or Butter, the time it takes to flute over there and bonk and get the silvers is probably about the same as the time it on Ganon.
That's reasonable. Bonta setting up for the quick kill on the Armos Knights.
Just to enter
Very
chat,
nice.
Kohrek changed it to standard mode for the race, and Bonta changed it to fast Ganon the third race.
Okay, Bonta finishing up with Pod Eastern.
Is Bonta diving in Swamp?
Maybe? He has ice he could go to.
Yeah, but it is
Oh,
worth.
Is this a pyramid? Yeah, it's a pyramid fairy check.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
I was gonna say, in a different race yesterday, the Sabotender Andy race, it turned out that Pendant Swamp was the play over Crystal Ice.
I wouldn't so much say that. It was Pendant Swamp over Pendant Thieves Town, because had Sabotender gone into Ice Palace at the same time as Andy, eventually he would have had to make the choice between Thieves and Swamp like Andy did. Andy made the choice of Thieves, and that was a big difference in that race.
Though, kind of like Kohrek in this case, Andy had already dipped in Swamp with the hammer, so he had taken out that first chest.
Yep, it was 5 checks in each one because Thieves was green pendant.
And Bonta realized there that maybe I should drop that big bomb off in front of the crack.
A useful thing to do. And we have rupees and rupees. Looks like Kohrek's gonna head right on over to Ice Palace.
So we'll finally get a look at a new dun here.
Yep, and neither runner in go mode, we are going to see most likely a full clear. Might see some extra bomb jump shenanigans since we, or maybe some hovering, since we do have a hookshot lock side that can be accessed via bomb jump.
Except a little bird tells me you can't hover without the boots.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we'll find the boots and then they'll be able to do it. So we both made that mistake, right? We're even. Oh, and this is interesting. A small key right away actually puts that hookshot side in logic, if I'm not mistaken, right away. Because now we can just go over there.
I forget all the rule in terms of bad key usage.
Well, whether it's in logic or not, it certainly is accessible.
I was just going to say, though, that Pengator room is a pain without the hookshot.
Yeah, we got to see some nice bomb strats from both runners there.
Speaking of bomb strats, here is the bomb jump. Looks like a good setup. Yep.
The one that everybody does? You could almost call Ice Palace Bomb Jump Dungeon, because there are quite a few that are very useful here.
Yeah, and that one, Kohrek just did not doing now. You're learning bomb jumps because we're making an MG of time. This bomb to learn.
Okay, Kohrek is going to make use of that key and go over to the right side. And finds a shovel. Fetch quest, anyone? Not gonna go.
Kohrek doesn't have a hammer, so he can't go any further on that side.
Oh, that's right. He has. Oh, he's just dipping this and hoping to find hammer, and he's not gonna find it. Very easy to forget when one runner does have it and the other one doesn't. So that mire area desert dipping, really big. We see a big shield. And the big key. Bonta also finding that shovel. So we'll have one more item in ice.
Right, so I forget what the logic implications are of that key being hammer locked.
Well, Kohrek's going to start running out of places to go, so hopefully that leads him over to the mire area. Bonta, in the meantime, is going to be able to finish this dungeon right now. He probably will go grab that heart container and iced tea because he's still looking for items too. Like I said, we need those boots or that hook shot. We need Quake, and we need an ice rod. But it looks like he is. Nope, he's gonna. That's right. You got to fall down here to come back up because of the bomb jump. And gonna make good use of that powder and get a nice free refill there. And Kohrek's gonna beeline it straight for that dig spot and hope he finds something good. And he doesn't.
Gonna need to flute to Dick sooner or later.
There's not much left for him to do at this point. And there he goes.
And I hope Bonta gives us hammer pegs and magic bats soon.
It's gonna be interesting. I think that'd be a good play to do first, then maybe go up to East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain since we finally have access with that hammer. It's a little slow because he can't go up the hookshot side.
I was gonna say, then once you've done that, you just start diving Turtle Rock and hope for the best.
Yep. That is the one thing that could equalize things on Kohrek's side. If that ice rod is in a trolly enough spot and he manages to find it first, that could bring him right back into this race.
Kohrek discovering that desert is in fact not boots locked. Mind you, we don't yet know what's ahead. It could be Ice Rod.
It could be. We don't have a book to check it.
It could even be Quake.
Yep, Quake could be anywhere but in Mire and possibly not in TR, depending on what the TR medallion requirement is. And Ice Rod could be anywhere but behind Trinex. So. And it It looks like Bonta may be walking over to do those checks that you mentioned. Or maybe not. Where is he headed?
Well, he got the shovel out.
Oh, he's got the
so-
shovel. He's going to do that first. We know that's not going to be anything, but he doesn't know that yet. And Kohrek gets his bow. Likely no reason to finish up Desert. He'll go ahead and go to checkerboard.
Well, the only reason to finish Desert is there's something on PED, and we have no way of knowing.
Yep. At the Desert being a very quick finish if he has to. At the moment, I can't see betting on PED, especially being very far out of the way to go finish it. Kohrek can go ahead and pick up that hammer and probably go... Unfortunately, he's going to have to re-dip the Eastern Pod and Ice Palace.
Well, no rage slashes about that hammer.
Yeah, and Kohrek is headed over to the Eastern Palace area, so probably going to clear these dungeons out. Pod doesn't take very long as a second dip. Eastern's a little bit longer. Definitely not the worst dungeons to double dip, but never feels good to double dip any dungeon.
And I was hoping, given that he's got to feel behind from having forced himself into so many double dips, maybe he would check Magic Bat and Hammer Pegs, because something's there. That's probably his best opportunity for regaining the lead at this point.
Okay, Bonta going to give us those East Death Mountain checks, starting out with the Spiral Cave. So we're going to get some new stuff over on Bonta's side. And Spiral Cave is just annoying without boots or without hookshot. And just a piece of heart.
But we've got 7 checks coming up in Paradox Cave.
Looks like he's going to do the dark stuff first. That'll be 3 in logic checks, plus a chance to go see what the medallion requirement for TR is. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's just going to mirror into this paradox check and then use that mirror portal to get back to the dark world. I actually really like that.
Yeah, but then he doesn't have to bomb jump in Paradox Cave either.
Plus, it puts your menu on the mirror to go ahead and block delete. Oh, there's the Quake. So now Mire is accessible. Well, we can get into Mire. We can't get very far.
And we still need that darn ice rod.
Another bottle. And Paradox Cave coming up pretty empty there. Except that Quake. The top of Paradox Cave coming up pretty empty.
Yeah. And that Quake, as you said, isn't any sort of immediate progression because we still need hookshot or boots.
It does guarantee we can get into Turtle Rock, though. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, though.
Well, if Ice Rod and either hookshot or boot in Turtle Rock, then we have go mode while Bonta's up here.
And there's Boots, so now we can at least do Mire. And we can get those silver arrows if we want them.
And as I said, if we don't have an incoming tempered anytime soon, I would strongly be getting those silver arrows.
See if Bonta goes for the hovers in this cave. Nope. At this point, it could only be the ice rod, I guess. We are going to at least open up Turtle Rock. We'll see if he decides to actually clear it. Now, being that this is fast Ganon, so when you typically think about going to Turtle Rock, you want to do it last so you can pair it up with Ganon's Tower. But we're not going to go to Ganon's Tower today, so opening it up now and doing it now, the only risk of the double dip, of course, is that he doesn't have the Ice Rod. He's not going to have to come up here. If the Ice Rod is in TR, he'll finish this up and be done with it and never have to come back here again. Unless that hook shot is... nope, because if he can finish this, he'll have the Ice Rod and he'll be in go mode.
I was also thinking, though, since we haven't done Mire, even if we do find Bird, the silvers are almost certainly a good bet because they speed up Vitreous as well.
That actually is a really good point. Picking up those silvers before the Vitreous fight would be really nice. Oh, first chest Ice Rod! So yeah, that is...
9-11.
That is go mode for Bonta. Wow.
So I'd say the big difference here was that when it came to dipping pendant dungeons, Bonta decided on Desert, while Kohrek decided on Skull Woods, and
yeah, I would agree.
Had all the stuff.
Yeah, Bonta saw that flute and said, "You know what? That gives me new stuff that I can go to." Kohrek decided to check Skull Woods, which had been open for quite a while. So Bonta going forward through the logic, Kohrek essentially going backwards. Not that necessarily is going to guarantee anything. It just ended up working out that way. Neither call was a bad one. It just worked out that it was indeed the Desert Mire area. And of course, fast Ganon giving us the opportunity to see a hook-shotless non-hover seed. Because unless Kohrek finds it while he's looking in other locations, we're not going to see a hook shot. Or if Bonta finds it while he's looking for small keys to finish up Turtle Rock. Or actually, for that matter, to find the big key in Mire. So I guess we could still see the hook shot. TR and Mire not, yeah, TR and Mire not being the most ideal go mode dungeons in the world.
Oh, Bonta grabbing arrows, interesting.
Oh, and it looks like Kohrek is going to go into Swamp.
Oof.
That's unfortunate, because he's not going to find anything he's looking for there. I think I get the play. I mean, he's got to feel behind. He's got to be thinking, well, you know, Bonta's not going to make this check. If the Ice Rod is here, if that Quake Medallion is here, then I'm good. But it's not going to work out for him.
He's just kind of that the first didn't I didn't have anything. It turned to all be in the second pendant dungeon. So, well, let's try the third pendant dungeon.
Absolutely reasonable.
But there are only 4 checks he can here.
Yeah, because he can't go to the back because he doesn't have that hook shot. Unless we find the hook shot. Which in this case would actually be really bad for him because it just lead him further away.
Yeah, and then when he goes up Death Mountain, he'd be checking Hookshot Cave, which we also know doesn't have anything useful.
Yep.
So Bonta is gonna have to check Laser Bridge. Because the lava chest must have had a key, and it would have just been a key for a key to go there, so he did the right thing by skipping it, but it means that there's no extra key.
There's a book. Don't need that anymore. And Bonta, low on health, is going to pull out that Cane of Burna to help get him through these lasers. Of course, also has a big shield to help him out, so...
I guess that last chest just to see if there had been any sort of health refill in it, or maybe...
Yeah, that might have been useful. You could have just powdered an anti-fairy, though.
Yeah, so maybe he's hoping for Tempered Sword.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Very nice start on the Trinex fight using the hammer strats. Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to say he's got a bottle. Yeah. I mean, preferably you don't want to use it if you don't have to, but taking a death here would be really costly.
Yeah, especially since he did not take that emergency exit at the bottom of Laser Bridge. Kohrek, meanwhile, moving on to his final check in Swamp House without the hook shot. Bonta takes down Trinex.
It's a piece of heart that doesn't even fill him up. But he doesn't care at this point, because he's going to head over to Meyer and then head over to Ganon. The only question is he going to go pick up those silver arrows?
At this point...
I think he is. It looks like he's headed that way.
Yeah.
Like you say with Master Sword, that is going to save time on that fourth stage.
Yeah. And with Vitreous. Between Vitreous and potential Master Sword Ganon, the only reason you wouldn't pick up silver arrows is if you just want to show off.
So essentially, Bonta just a big key in Meyer away. And ironically, the last time I calmed a fast Ganon race, it was Meyer that was done last too. So we could do kind of a mini big key guessing game. I believe we eventually figured out there were 6 places the big key could be in Meyer. So 1 through 6, guys. What do we got?
And we don't even know which one of those cutscene chests will be.
Someone's still guessing 22. I love Twitch chat.
I think no matter what it is, there are going to be a lot of ties.
Okay, looks like Kohrek's gonna go ahead and finish up Ice Palace next. Okay, let's see. First big key, first check. And just a small key.
Unfortunately, looking increasingly likely that Bonta's going to finish before Kohrek's in go mode.
Yeah, it's entirely possible at this point. Without Ganon's Tower to take up more time. And we do get the second chest big key. We do get the Godmire. Which is so rare when you're in go mode. Or at least it feels that way.
Right, isn't there supposed to be a rule that Crystal Mire never has a Godmire?
No, go mode Crystal Mire never has a Godmire.
Oh, okay.
We do see quite a few guesses of 2. Looks like K nubbed the first one, but congratulations to all of you that guessed too. And gave Bonta the Godmire that he was looking for.
Looks like he's going for glitch.
Nice. So if you think about it, that desert area, so important. We had a bow, we had a hammer, and we had a master sword, and we have not seen any sign of any other swords. So unless Bonta gets one right here on Vitreous. Okay, interesting that he picked up those silver arrows and is not using them?
Because he only has 5 arrows. He got those arrows in Turtle Rock, but never...
Yeah, that's a really good point. He needs to save 4 for Ganon. Oh, that's gonna get interesting.
I mean, he could flute to 8 and the upgrade. That would be the easiest way to refill his arrows.
That's an interesting, you could do that. Man, you think about it, if you miss 1 arrow on Ganon, that just extends that fight. So, you know, because you're talking 24 spins, so each arrow is going to be 6. Yeah, 6 spins.
Also, given the length of that Vitreous fight, fluting to 8 and refilling arrows might have been fast then.
Yeah, it might have been faster.
Vitreous with a Master Sword.
Yep. Yeah, for those of you that maybe tuned in late, we are playing a fast Ganon seed, so yeah, no GT to get arrows in.
And honestly, given where Ganon's tower is, he's just fluting to 5. I was gonna say, it's not even that out of your way flute to 8, because you can flute to 8, buy the arrow upgrade, swim north, mirror, but no.
Nah, I could, you know, I think the play would have been to do it before going into Mire, if you're going to do that at all. Doing it at this point, you've got 4 hours left. You're confident that you can do this, and it's not like you're soft locked if you don't.
While Kohrek does Bombos on Cold Stare, probably not a bad idea since Fire Rod's a bit more effective than Master Sword.
We're going to use some Canis Mario blocks to help him out with this Master Sword fight. It is going to be... Master Sword only does damage with spins, so he's going to have to do a whole lot of spinning here.
And Ganon actually gave us a variation on vanilla text today. Just to remind our viewers, 12 spin attacks per cycle. We are already on phase 2.
But yeah, to be clear, since the question came up in chat, if, yeah, for every missed silver, he'd have to do 6 sword spins. So yeah, the damage, you know, you don't suddenly, if you miss an arrow, you don't suddenly have to do all 24 spins. So hopefully he just doesn't miss. And Bonta really is going to want to make sure he gets this torch glitch. Actually, never mind. He's got the silver. As long, I'd probably go for it anyway, just to you know, just in case you miss one of those. But he doesn't get it, so it really is going to be important for him to get all these silver shots in.
I don't even know what he has left by way of bushes.
Oh, and calculated, he managed to finish it off. Doesn't miss a single arrow. Hugely important, that.
So get your G's in Bonta, who is our first runner to advance to the round of 32 in brackets.
And finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:23:26. So GG to Bonta. Well done. Congratulations for being the first runner into the round of 32. Very nicely done.
And looks like we have a forfeit here from poor Kohrek.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He's not in go mode. At this point, wanting to. I don't think I'd want to finish this out either.
Yeah, just some really bad luck with where he decided to route. Bonta doesn't do audio interviews. He might show up in chat, but let's see if we have Kohrek in here, though. I understand, given what just happened, if he doesn't want to come in here.
Yeah, that was a rough one for him. Rough one for both of them, but especially Kohrek. Again, that Swamp Palace play, instead of going into Mire, that made a huge difference. Swamp Palace, Skull Woods. He went to Swamp later. Skull Woods play instead of the Mire play. Looks like Kohrek is going to join us though, and
okay, and
maybe vent a little bit. That's okay.
Hey, we have Kohrek in here. Well played. Sorry it didn't work out for you.
Yeah, I mean that'll happen sometimes. One little error when you're just playing and you kind of have to choose a path, and then it ends up being extremely lopsided in the end. But it's all good. That happens.
Yeah, to be fair, errors. I never like to use the word error in terms of you made a decision, and it didn't turn out to be the one that got you forward.
Well, so it was like it wasn't necessarily a routing choice or something. It was like I didn't open the main cell chest, which I needed to do to determine whether the flute was hammerlocked. So that put me in a situation where I had to choose one of two scenarios, and I just chose the wrong side of the 50-50. And I knew that Bonta was going to play it the right way, whether or not it was a small key in there or not. So I had to choose one or the other, and I just chose wrong. So it was a conflict, and I lost.
Bonta did, in fact, open that chest, so he knew that flute was not hammerlocked.
Yeah, he told me. So yeah, he also said he almost forgot, but he almost is not quite forgetting. So
no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean it was fine. Bonta is a great opponent anyway. He is definitely one of the favorites in this tournament. It was going to be a tough battle either way. Unfortunately, this one was not as close as our ones we had yesterday. But yeah, it happens, and I wish Bonta the best of luck throughout the rest of the tournament. And now I have some more free time anyway here, so that's a good thing. But I got a lot of friends still in the tournament, so I'll still be watching and rooting them on.
Yeah, certainly no shame in losing to the person that finished first in the qualifiers. So. And you took a game off him. A couple of really close races yesterday that were fun to watch.
And that's pointing out we're fourth place last year's tournament, so you got lots of games in that one.
Yeah, I played 31 v1s in last tournament, so I'm in a way I'm happy to not have 31 v1s in this one. That took a while. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm seeing that since last year, the final round are best of 5. Both of your final 2 rounds, the full 5. So.
Oh wow, it's a lot of games.
But yeah, I love this tournament, and obviously big fan of the Rando. So it's a little bit unfortunate that I came up a little bit short this time, but at the same time, I've had a lot of really good results over the past year, and I can't really complain. There's always going to be an element of rando to it, so I'm hoping one of my friends that I'm going to be cheering on in the coming weeks can take down the title this time.
Well, so far, just based on results we've seen, it seems like the bracket is still wide open for anyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good players left, and a lot of really good players in really interesting spots in the bracket. So there's a lot that could happen coming up.
I do want to respond if you're still in chat. Why did you decide to just grab the 5 arrows out of Turtle Rock rather than getting the arrow upgrade, fluting to 8, and then having plenty of arrows for Viddy and Ganon? We'll see if he sees this in chat. But meanwhile, yes, GG Kohrek. It's been great watching you play. I mean, those first 2 races were really close and either of them could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. The saving exactly 4 arrows. But yeah, that's how it went. But yeah, congratulations, Kohrek, for getting into brackets. I mean, that's still something to be proud of. Anything else you want to add before we go ahead and sign us off?
No, just thank you for all the volunteers and the restream, and GG's to Bonta, and good luck the rest of the way. I know you'll probably go pretty far, so take him down.
All right, so give you all a reminder that if you're not already following this runners, we'll put the command in chat so you can go ahead and give them both a follow now, and you can also follow my co-commentator and our tracker. Again, shout outs to Sine and for doing the hard work behind the scenes, and Drossi, also thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great working with you. Thanks a lot. And also, we have a full schedule of Link to the Past randomizer bracket matches today here on Speed Game 2.
We really do.
At 20, we will have Shady Force versus Jet 082. At 20, we will have Emo Sorrow versus On 101. And after a little bit of a break, at 7:20, we'll have Big Dunka versus Someone 325. So
actually, at 7:20, there are 4 races going on. Well, potentially 4 races. At least one could be a game 3. But the ones that we know are going to be restreamed are the Big Dunka versus Someone 325 and Ace Zero versus Boyne. So that Ace Zero versus Boyne sounds like a really good matchup. So,
and that'll be over.
Not to discount the other races going on at the same time. So yeah, definitely a lot of really good stuff going on. And looking at the schedule, I'm not going to read the rest of the schedule, but a lot of stuff scheduled for tomorrow, stuff scheduled for Thursday. We got things all scheduled all the way out into a couple of matches even on Saturday. So a lot of Link to the Past randomizer action going on the SG family of Speed Gaming family of networks.
And please do follow that whole Speed Gaming family of networks. We have Speed Gaming 2 through 6. We also have ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5. And especially in this round with all these races happening, we do have 64 runners. There will be some resting on the ALTTP Randomizer finals because Speed Games can't fit all of them.
All right, so that'll be it for us, and hope you all tune in for the next match. At 1:20 Eastern. Hope to see you then.
And whatever time zone you may be in, have a great 2020. And after today, we'll see you in the new year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone.